Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking your sources and, well, diving into a really critical issue, India's recent suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty.
Yeah, it's quite something. This isn't just about water, is it? It's tangled up with history, regional stability.
Exactly, and how an agreement that seemed solid for decades can suddenly become, a real flashpoint.
It is remarkable. A 60-year-old treaty, once seen as a model of cooperation, now right at the center of current tensions, and it directly impacts millions of people.
Okay, so let's try and unpack this. Our mission really is to look at the treaty's background, why it was suspended now, the built-in problems maybe, and these latest disputes.
Right, to give you a clearer picture of why this matters so much right now.
So let's jump right in with the immediate trigger. India announced this suspension back in April 2024. It was right after that Pahalgam terror attack, April 22nd.
And the link was made pretty explicit, wasn't it?
Yeah, India's foreign secretary basically said Pakistan needs to, and I'm quoting here, credibly and irrevocably abjure cross-border terrorism. So this suspension wasn't just symbolic.
Not at all. The practical consequences were immediate. India stopped the irregular sharing of water flow data, flood data, that kind of thing.
Which is crucial information downstream.
Absolutely. And maybe even more significantly, India stated it now had the freedom to conduct reservoir flushing exercises whenever needed.
Releasing large amounts of water to clear sediment.
Exactly. Something that was restricted under the treaty before, and, well, it can really affect downstream flows quite dramatically.
Okay, so those are the immediate impacts. But to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to understand the treaty itself. What is the Indus Waters Treaty?
Well, it was signed way back September 1960. India and Pakistan.
With the World Bank playing a key role, right?
Yes, under their oversight. And it basically laid out the rules for managing the whole Indus River system, which is, absolutely vital for both economies.
So how did the sharing work? Because that seems to be the core of it.
It's this 80.20 asymmetrical split, which is quite unique.
80.20, meaning?
Meaning Pakistan, even though it's downstream, got the rights to about 80% of the total water volume from the 6 rivers combined. India got the other 20%.
So India got exclusive use of the eastern rivers, Sutlej, Beas, Ravi.
Correct. And Pakistan got the main flow from the western rivers, the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab. India could use water from those western rivers, but only in very limited ways.
Like non-consumptive uses. Hydropower without changing the flow much.
Precisely. Domestic use, agriculture, hydro, but strictly regulated so as not to impede the flow allocated to Pakistan.
That 80.20 split, though, giving the downstream country the lion's share, that feels like a potential issue long-term, especially for India, the upper riparian state.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the inherent challenges people point to now. The sources we looked at highlight several things.
Like what?
Like the strict rules on India's hydropower projects on those western rivers that's led to a lot of disputes over the years. Delays for Indian projects because Pakistan objects. And then there's growing water scarcity. India's 20% share is under pressure from population growth, more farming, climate change, all of it.
So it creates a sense of perhaps strategic vulnerability for India.
That's certainly a perspective reflected in the sources, yes. A perceived disadvantage.
Which really makes you think about how inflexible long-term treaties can be when circumstances change so drastically. Climate change wasn't the factor in 1960 that it is now.
Exactly. And the treaty did have a way to handle disagreements, a kind of three-step process.
Okay, what was that?
First, issues go to the Permanent Indus Commission with officials from both sides. If they can't agree, it can go to a neutral expert.
And if that doesn't resolve it?
Then the final step is a Court of Arbitration, whose rulings are meant to be binding.
Right. And this mechanism was really put to the test recently with the Kishenganga and Rattle hydroelectric projects India was building.
Yes. Pakistan objected to the designs, took it to the World Bank, and then things got, well, complicated.
How so?
The World Bank, in October 2022, made this decision that India termed controversial. It appointed both a neutral expert and started proceedings for a Court of Arbitration simultaneously.
Two processes at once for the same issue.
Pretty much. India strongly objected to the Court of Arbitration, called it illegal parallel proceedings. They only participated in the neutral expert process.
And then rejected the Court of Arbitration's findings when they came out in August 2024?
That's right. They didn't recognize its legitimacy.
Yeah.
So the dispute resolution mechanism itself became a point of conflict.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. The suspension trigger, the treaty basics, the underlying tensions, the dispute mechanism breaking down. So stepping back, what does this all mean for you thinking about global resources and stability?
It really throws a spotlight on a tough question, doesn't it? How can these vital water-sharing agreements, some decades old, possibly adapt? Especially with climate change, shrinking resources, demand going up, and, well, politics getting more complex.
When even a foundational agreement like the IWT, one that survived wars, faces suspension and deadlock over interpretations.
Exactly. How do we navigate that future? It's a critical thought.
A critical thought indeed, something to keep pondering as we watch these global currents shift.